Good morning and welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Nawaz Sorathia. He is a cybersecurity and network engineer with expertise in risk management, penetration testing, and compliance. He is skilled in Python, automation, web development, server management, and firewall hardening. He's a certified ethical hacker with experiences in secure systems management, incident response, and is passionate about teaching coding with strong problem-solving, communication, and detailed orientation skills. At this time, please welcome Nawaz Sorathia.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, Yusei Khan. It's an honor to be around the defenders, the future of the people who safeguard our IT infrastructure and other measures to ensure that we are safe. While we dive in, I want you to take a moment to think that imagine a morning you're waking up, looking at your phone, opening your bank application. Everything seems normal, but few seconds later, everything is vanished. Your transactions are gone. Your emails are not readable. Your organization and personal secured files are leaked and decrypted. Well, we might think that it's a fear, but everything that comes with a fear comes with a fix. While we might think that those emails, those transactions that vanished might be your mistake, but no, it might not be something because of a weak password, a weak key, or maybe a phishing attack. Instead, something called as post-quantum cryptographic error. So while we talk about it, what are we imagining? We're imagining a world that bypasses the current cryptographic methods. However, the current classic computers or the standard computers that we use are not something that may be equipped or may be able to use that quantum technology. However, we are expecting that potential world or that potential era to come quicker with the help of AI, maybe 5 or 10 years from now. We might be thinking that if this is really a science fiction or a threat, or is it real? Well, let me tell you that as we see different organizations working, there is a large shift in technology that we recently observed with the AI and others coming up. For over 50 years, IT, computers, and other technologies have been equipped with strong mathematical background and foundation to secure data that is called cryptography. Like RSA, ECC, AES, these are the foundational encryption algorithms that we currently use, coming to your text messages, to your payments, to your banks, to your emails, and everything that you are around. But the revolution is not far. Although the classic computers do not process the way the quantum works, the quantum is not just quicker, it's different. And while we say it's different, it's fundamentally different. It completely changes how the current standard or classical computers work. And by that, we mean that, let's for example, that a computer is processing one page of a book in a second or a minute. A quantum computer can do multiple different pages of the same book at the same in a second or at the same time that the classical computer does. This is the ability that the quantum computer has, which we know so far. But what are the abilities that we do not know and might still exist that it will bring along its way when it comes down? So when we talk about quantum computing, it's not just a science fiction nowadays, which was maybe like 5 to 10 years back from now. You might say, oh, come on, quantum computer is not mainstream yet. Well, you're right, but there's a catch to that. Nationwide threat actors are already harvesting the data that we have today. And what we mean by harvesting, storing the data. So all your encrypted data that is not currently being decrypted, or the classical computers do not have the ability to decrypt them without a key, quantum computing would have. And yes, if you ask me a question that are threat actors really storing the data? Yes, they are. Not just nation, but the global wise. Every encrypted data can be stored and encrypted later. Well, you might ask how. If you can compare the old ciphertext, Morse code, and whatnot other cryptographic methods that were used back then, maybe using a paper or human brain, they are easily decrypted right now. So what stops the current algorithms to not decrypt later? That's where we are heading towards. We would see these changes in all the sectors who are using the encryption, and I believe every sector will be not just a victim, but a source of these encrypted data. And while we talk about encrypted data, we know that these have been a mandate requirement by NIST and other standardizations to be implemented across all the procedures and all the documentations that we use nowadays. While we see that it doesn't just go around, there have been companies and instances where we see that people are building these quantum techniques and strategies to work around these data. While we are working on how to mitigate ransomware and phishing, somewhere around the world in a research lab, this is being developed. And not to threat you, but let's go a bit technical, and I'll ensure that it's not too serious, because every algorithm that we currently have, that is RSA or ECC, are guarded by the strong mathematical foundation. RSA depends on factoring large numbers, whereas ECC factors on solving discrete algorithms, where the quantum uses Shor algorithm. And what does that mean? It's an algorithm that can exponentially decrypt your data or process your data. And while the 2048-bit of RSA encrypted data is too hard for the classic computer to just process, quantum computing can just do it in seconds with the help of something called as Grove's algorithm. And that's not just it. These are built on strong physical and mathematical grounds. So while we talk about quantum, it's just not built on a random technology, but the physical and the combination of mathematical backgrounds. But the good news is that we have solution for it. NIST have been working for about 10 years or more now, researching and making people aware of something that we might expect. It was seen long back that the quantum might take over the current usage or the current technology. And NIST, after researching for about 10 years, it has found 3 main algorithms that could fight back the quantum, the post-quantum algorithms. So why are we focusing on those? So these algorithms don't just protect your data that you have right now, but also fight with the quantum tactics that we might expect or see in the future. These algorithms are so equipped with fighting with the quantum tactics or the decryption strategies that the current data can be safe enough for not just the personal use, but also for the organizations and the sensitive data that are stored like secret military files, secret national files, and whatnot. NIST is standardizing all the national and federal level systems to equip with these algorithms by 2030. And by that, what does that mean? It means that NIST is making sure that PQC, which is post-quantum cryptography algorithms, are being applied to the data that we have today. Because when we talk about these, we might think it's a hard transition or a larger shift to equip in these algorithms or encryption strategies into our systems. Well, changes are difficult, but not hard. What does that mean? It means that there might be few manual or few extra works, but it's not that it's something impossible. While the resources that we have available by NIST and other standardizations, it helps us understand that how we can make the shift from a local level to hybrid and then to complete encryption. So you might ask me a question that how do we start? Start small. Start making your local, that is your current encryption methods, equipped with the post-quantum cryptographic algorithms so that you are not just using the current encryption methods, but also the ones that are coming in to safeguard your information and safeguard your secret or very sensitive data of your organization and yourself hard enough that these are not just within you, but also the organizations that you work in. And while you transition to the current algorithms to the post-quantum algorithms, you would be at some point in a hybrid stage where you're using both the algorithms, which is fine because not everything can be controlled at once. We see different organizations like Google, IBM, Microsoft working on these algorithms and also the quantum computing. As we know so far that Google and Microsoft were able to build a quantum computer for the use which they are currently using to process the new Google Maps. So the latest news is that the Google Maps has recently launched a satellite which takes the photo of the map or the street every 30 minutes. And imagine 30 minutes photo of one particular street. Imagine having it at the end of the day about 3,000 photos just for one street. And How is Google processing that? Well, it's using different techniques that they have their own quantum computing. They have also equipped the Chrome browser with the new encryption which is called Kyber, and they are processing it at their level right now. However, we might see it coming our way very soon. Whereas Microsoft is working on PQ Crypto VPN, which encrypts your data using these algorithms. And while we talk about these, you might think that how the current strong mathematical grown algorithms can be decrypted. Well, the quantum computing doesn't use a key to decrypt the data that we currently have. It doesn't just use the keys or random words or maybe a dictionary attack or a random attack to decrypt these, whereas it uses read algorithm technique. Read algorithm technique is understanding the algorithm and knowing how it works. Once you know the use and understand how the algorithm works, quantum computer can just do it in a snap. We also have OpenSSL 3.0 that now supports the quantum level encryption. While these are not really out to the public, these are something that are under development and we might see very soon within our hands. So while we talked about how to make sure that we are prepared for coming this change, it might, as I said, it might be difficult but not hard enough to equip these, and there is no actual replacement for these algorithms. However, the algorithms that are ready to fight quantum are more efficient than what we have today. Not going too technical, but trying to understand the grounds that how these current algorithms uses different methods and can lack various areas within the cryptography. One of my research and study, I was reading about the way these algorithms process data, and while we have third-party softwares or maybe the actual encryption technique that we use, we all might be somewhere using the third-party techniques or methods to encrypt these data. Maybe most of you might be using Microsoft in your organization that encrypts your data like BitLocker. And also, while you send out emails using Microsoft Outlook, if you use the encrypt method, it encrypts your emails. Well, these are the grounds that we are going for about 10 years now. And we have been hearing this and trusting it so well that we just put our information there. However, we are not aware that these third-party applications or providers can somewhere handle our encrypted files and later store it and harvest it using the quantum. Nobody can stop them. However, I'm not saying that they do, but what stops the other third-party applications that we randomly use to encrypt data to stop collecting our data? Threat actors around the world are not focusing on ransomware attacks or phishing attacks anymore if you come on to the large picture, because they do not want to just encrypt your data and take the money back. Well, there are a few actors who does that, who works on money, but so there are different intentions of actors who work around. Few just require money, and few requires data. And like big companies, there are different financial companies who are not really focused on what money is in your bank account, but it's about how you use that money. That's the data. While the money can just flow at some point, it can disappear or it might not be at use, but the data can help them generate even more money than they have today. So these are the action plans or the takeaways that we can implement or use in our organizations and personally gaining the knowledge and understanding the behavior to start investing into these algorithms and these transitions. And while we talk about awareness within our organizations and making people who are controlling these areas within our organizations aware, it's important to make them understand before we propose anything, because if you don't know what you are protecting, you are not protecting anything. So my recommendations are the case studies that have been going and been suggested by different standardizations is first to take an assessment or an audit. So there's something called as a general audit or assessment that we currently use, but we might have to shift to the quantum risk assessment. Now, what does quantum risk assessment mean? That means that what data in our organization is vulnerable to quantum. When exposed to quantum, let's say if you are not using BitLocker, but just using your organizational machines to log in every day and connecting to random networks around, you might or might not be exposed to data leak. But in case these information, which are not encrypted right now, can be easily accessed, but what about the ones that are encrypted and not good enough, not protected enough for them to make them ready with the quantum era? Build your crypto assets. By crypto assets, I don't mean cryptocurrency, I mean cryptographical algorithms. And investing in these algorithms not just make the information safer, but secure enough to fight back when something hits hard, and ensuring that they are backed up, so the information is backed up on a timely basis, and those backups are again encrypted using quantum algorithms. If you are a vendor-based companies, engage your vendors, make them aware about what is coming their way. Help them understand that this is not a science fiction anymore. It's what we might see in the years to come. While we talk about different researches on these transitions, there are different theories and industry-based developments that have been or is available for us. And I'll be linking the resources at the end. However, if you wish to get more resources, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I will share the packet with you that will have a complete guide and list of resources available for you and for your organizations. So the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is now. And when we say this, it means that we were just working on the past stuff for now, but it's time now it's the time to make sure that we are equipped with what we heard so far. Ignoring the rumors, ignoring the threats, ignoring the fears that we heard so far, fearing that this might come our way, is to stop and being bold enough to face them, because you are having a solution to equip your environment and yourself with the latest available algorithms and techniques. So as I said, fear comes with a fix. So these are the resources, and I open up the time for your question. And I'll be happy to help you with more resources if you wish to. Feel free to connect me on LinkedIn, and that's my username. Any questions are welcomed.
Any questions? And I can bring the mic to you.
Hi, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the performance differences that are being noticed between, like, let's say I have two sites, I have an IPsec tunnel between the two, I'm using something like AES, 128 between them. In moving to one of the recommended PQCs, what sort of performance differences am I looking like between the two sites?
Okay, if you're talking about performance within the standard computers that we use currently, there's a large gap between using these quantum-equipped algorithms on our standard machines. Well, I won't say it's impossible, but if you invest more into equipping your machines, into making your processes better, current time difference of, or I would say in terms of the resources consumption on what AES use and quantum use, I would say it's thrice. So it's 3 times more on the classical computers. However, if you invest and equip your machines and your encryption strategies better, you would be able to cut that down. And if you also, let's say if we get a quantum machine or quantum computer accessible, it would be way more faster than AES if we do that, if that answers your question.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
So the post-quantum cryptography is being powered by hard problems not currently broken by quantum computers. Are these problems provably not breakable by quantum computing, or is it just that they're not currently broken by quantum computing?
I didn't understand the first part, sorry.
So you were saying that post-quantum cryptography is powered by hard problems not broken by quantum computing currently, correct?
Yes.
So are these hard problems provably not breakable by quantum computing, or is it just that they're not currently broken by quantum computing?
So with what we have so far, the quantum machines and research of NIST, based on that, I would say it's currently not breakable with the quantum. And like we say, we have steps of welcoming the technologies. So if you are hitting the first phase of the quantum, you are ready to secure your data. So those PQCs are ready to face the phase 1, but we never know what comes in phase 2 and phase 3. And we transition as technologies come in, like we currently do too. So the phase 1 of quantum are definitely, the PQCs are not breakable using those.
Other questions? All right. Thank you so much. Let's thank our speaker for today.